Yes, sir. It's your boy Jelani Reed, and welcome into the latest edition of Read Between the Lines. That is RBTL. So be sure to follow at the RBTL show on Instagram and at Northside Talks underscore. Don't forget the underscore, or you won't find the page. Find that on Instagram for more news, updates, and alerts from the four major sports leagues. Okay, we got you on everything. We got it covered. All right, thank you again for listening to the show. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, talk to your family and friends about the show. Okay, takes 2 seconds, not that long. All right, so thank you again for tuning in today. A lot to cover and a lot of basketball to talk about. College and NBA talks to come. And also I have some NFL news, but guys, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to get another episode going. That's for sure. And you guys, if you're watching me on YouTube, I have a hat on again. So you might be wondering why. Why am I always wearing a hat? It's because I haven't had a haircut in a minute. You know, the whole place is locked down now. Shout out to Mr. Ford. So it's going to be a while before my hair is looking nice again with a fade. So I just had to throw that out there. But guys, sit back, relax for half an hour plus, and let's go. Okay, so we're moving now. We're moving to the big one. The big one of today's episode. It's quite clear. What happened a few days ago is something I saw coming. I tweeted this out for what? I tweeted this out before, right before the tournament. All right. It was early March. I said, watch Gonzaga choke again. Watch them choke again. Ooh, something's going on with my throat. Yeah, Gonzaga, you choked. Yep. They did it again. They always let you down. Even when they're undefeated, they let you down. The Gonzaga Bulldogs, ladies and gentlemen, they have been on Jelani's list of teams not to trust for how many years? If you know me, or if you've ever spoken to me or spoken with me about college basketball, what do I always say about these Bulldogs? You can't trust them. It's that simple. And even if they're undefeated, even if they're 31-0, do you think I'm going to be like, yeah, they're going to win it all? Nope. I didn't have them winning it all. I thought Baylor was going to, give them a run for their money, and they did. So first of all, shout out to Baylor. Okay, they're the champs, first-time champs. Shout out to Scott Drew, good coach. Okay, let's just face it. They were faster. They were stronger. They were quicker, smarter, right? They were hungrier out there on the floor than Gonzaga was. Shout out to Mitchell, Teague, Butler, their big three. From the perimeter, their guard play was fantastic. The Bulldogs could not handle this Baylor Bears attack. They couldn't handle it. Vital from the inside was getting boards left and right. Chachua, who he was in foul trouble, I believe, but he also had a huge presence inside that Gonzaga just couldn't deal with. They couldn't deal with it, right? And you're looking at Drew Timme, a guy who, you know what? He'll let you know when he's doing well. He's loud, he's noticeable out there on the floor with his celebrations. He was nowhere to be found. Nowhere. Baylor dealt with him. Baylor dealt with Kispert, okay? I didn't see anything from Corey Kispert. One of their leading scorers, somebody who was the X factor coming into the game for sure, he didn't show up. He was looking like Troy Bolton out there rather than Corey Kispert, with all due respect. Andrew Nembhard. Okay, look, Nembhard is from Canada, so we have to shout him out. Aurora, shout out to Ontario. But I saw Andrew struggle with what Baylor had. So Gonzaga was shook. Gonzaga was shook. And the one guy I really feel bad for in this situation is Mark Few. Okay, Mark Few, I had this a few episodes ago. I told him and this team, this is your clearest path to a title. It's that simple. There's no Duke, Kentucky, UNC this year. There's no Blue Bloods. Okay. The road to becoming undefeated was, considerably easier than other teams that have come before them. The conference you're in, the WCC, I mean, with all due respect, it's not a tougher conference, right? It's not a Power Five. It's none of those. They let us down again. Mark Few has been there since 1999. Okay. And since 99, he's had good teams. Since 99, he's had NBA talent. Since 99, from then till now, we've seen some years where Gonzaga is possibly a contender for a title, right? Since 99, he's gone to the Final Four twice, national championship game twice, couldn't get it done. You guys were undefeated. I don't care. This is not just Baylor outdoing them, and Baylor, shout out to them. They could have won last year, okay? Let's keep that in mind. They could have won last year had there not been COVID. They are a good basketball team. They are a good basketball team. So we should not be surprised. This is not an upset by any means. They're a number one seed for a reason. And had there not been COVID that hit their team this season, maybe they would have been undefeated because they only had 2 losses on their schedule. But when I'm looking at the Bulldogs, Gonzaga, you guys undefeated, you guys were being put in these conversations for best team of all time or best team of this era. And you go out and start the game like that? Really? Is that what we're on? Jalen Suggs, 2 quick fouls. That hurt them. That threw them off. Okay? Again, I don't want to ever hear this talk about an all-time team. Even if they won, I'm not putting them with Phi Slamajama. I'm not putting those, Houston Cougars. You had Drexler, Olajuwon. And they didn't win. But still, they're a fantastic team, an all-time team. Let's talk about UCLA. Wooden's UCLA teams back in the day. All right. Kareem, then known as Lou Alcindor. You had Bill Walton. Those teams. Nope. Indiana, can I take you back to 1976? The last undefeated team? I don't think so. Georgetown, Patrick Ewing. I don't think so. North Carolina, Michael Jordan. Perkins. Worthy. I don't think so. Who else? They didn't win, but the Fab Five, you think these guys would have been better than the Fab Five? I don't think so. And this is even if Gonzaga won. I don't think so. Put them on a court together. Then you'll see what's going to happen. Those Duke teams, Christian Laettner, Hurley, Hill. I don't think so. Okay? There are plenty of teams who have won and who haven't won that could put up a fight against this Gonzaga team. So the talk about them being, Gonzaga is going to be a top 5 team of all time. If they win, they're going to be the best team of all. No, I was never buying it. With all due respect, okay? You're looking at even the Kentucky team and Antoine Walker. No. back-to-back Florida team, early 2000s. No, I didn't see it. So you got to look at it from its proper context. The teams they played against Gonzaga, in the conference that they're in, you can't compare them with teams like even Baylor in the Big 12. There's just tougher competition out there, and Gonzaga's in a conference where, yeah, you got to expect them to beat teams like Pepperdine. You know what I'm saying? But again, I feel for Mark Few because this was his best opportunity. I don't know when they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win. I can't trust this team anymore. I can't. I'm done with Gonzaga. I'm done with them. It's year in, year out. I say this annually. The Gonzaga Bulldogs will not get it done. And we all say this. We all ask this question annually. Will they get it done? No, they won't. You saw what just happened. Undefeated, for crying out loud. Undefeated. And they show up to get slapped? You got to put up a fight. You got to put up a fight better than that. I'm sorry. You're undefeated. This is a championship game. I'm sorry. But we already saw how they could be vulnerable, because even in the Final Four against UCLA, a lot of nice looks UCLA had in that game. Johnny Juzang, can I give him a shout out, please? That guy is smooth out there on the floor. All right. Tyreek Campbell, these guys. Open looks, good looks throughout the night. You wonder why it was such a high score. And had you given these open looks, these good looks to Baylor, which happened, okay, Baylor was going to hit those shots. And you saw it happen, whether if it was Teague, whether if it was Butler, whether if it was Mitchell. It was sensational. So again, I just got to add them to the list. Houston Rockets, Toronto Maple Leafs, New Orleans Saints. You cannot trust the Gonzaga Bulldogs. This was your best shot at a title. I don't know when it's going to happen. There were no blue bloods in your way. Everything was lined up for you. You guys were undefeated. You guys mopped every team you played against, beating teams by 20, Kansas, Iowa. It didn't matter. Mark Few is such a great coach. You had talent. You have NBA talent. Look at Jalen Suggs. You guys get the luckiest shot in the Final Four. Jalen Suggs once more. And yet, you guys choked. You know that movie Flushed Away? Yeah, that's their title hopes. They flushed away within the first 5 minutes of the game, which is unacceptable for a team that was considered to be one of the all-time teams coming into the game. No, sir, I can't trust this team. Let's move on. So now to the countdown. I had to go off because, I had to go off because Gonzaga, every year, man, I tell people they're not winning the championship. I didn't care if they were undefeated. I did not care, okay? Baylor was just as good as them throughout the season. People didn't know that. They were just as good as them, and you saw it. They outdid them in every area. Timmy was quiet, all right? This guy was silenced overnight. You saw how big he came up in that UCLA game, and then he was silenced overnight. Where you at, Timmy? Where you at? I tried to get my binoculars. I couldn't find him. I couldn't find him out there. Anyway, now to the women's tournament real quick because it's daily countdown. Got to go through. So the women's tournament was fantastic. All right, I gotta admit. All right, I gotta admit this. I wanted South Carolina to win it all. I did, but didn't happen. Obviously, they lost to Stanford. All right, a bit controversial, but yeah, because they missed the kickball. But anyway, shout out to Stanford though for winning the title. They're third. All right, they beat Arizona in the championship game by 1 point. It came down to the wire. Ari McDonald, she tried to get the game winner at the buzzer. It didn't work. She was triple teamed. Honestly, I think she should have dished it off to somebody because you knew Stanford was gonna just gang up on her at the end there. But Tara Vanderveer gets her third ring. This is their first championship since 1992. So yeah, Stanford, they were the best team. All right, they were the best team in the tournament. You have Haley Jones, who just doesn't know how to miss anything. She doesn't know how to miss any shots. All right, she's fantastic. You have a team that has Cameron Brink inside. She is a presence that no other team really had. All right, she could deal with anybody. Williams and Wilson from the perimeter defensively were fantastic against Arizona. That's for sure. And I think honestly, the key to winning the game was Anna Wilson disrupting Ari McDonald, and that's what we saw in the first half, because McDonald, obviously, she's gonna get her points. We know that she's gonna get her points, but they came really late, right? They came after a lot of adjustments were made, right? Because Anna Wilson played fantastic defense on her. Remember, she's first team all defense. Okay. So yeah, shout out to them, and obviously Lexi Hull, who could score the basketball all the time. But yeah, Ari McDonald, she's a baller. You wanted this for Coach Barnes in Arizona, but I mean, it can't just be 1 versus 5, because that's what we saw. All right, it was really a 1 versus 5 game. McDonald coming in, she was averaging 30 points per game in her last 3 games. So we knew Stanford was going to do something about that. We know that was going to happen, right? So, but it was a great tournament. It sucks that it's already over. It was a lot of great close games, down to the wire games. So I can't wait for the next season of NCAA women's college basketball. But now let's move to the NFL. All right, let's move to the NFL. Why? Because there was a big trade that took place between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. So the Jets traded quarterback Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers for a 2021 6th-round pick and a 2nd and 4th-round pick in 2022. All right. So now let's look at the Jets' future picks. So in 2021, they have the 2nd and 23rd overall pick in the 1st round, right? A 2nd-round pick, 3rd-round pick, and they also have the Seattle 3rd. 2022, they have a 1st-rounder, Seattle's 1st as well, a 2nd-rounder, Carolina's 2nd-rounder, a 3rd-round pick, and obviously they got some 4s up in there. So the Jets have a haul of picks. They got a lot of picks. But let's look at this from both sides. The Jets just gave you how many draft picks they have moving forward. But let's look at it. There aren't any 1st-round picks from like 2012 to 2018 that are still on the roster, right? From guys like Darnold to Calvin Pryor, all these guys aren't on the team anymore. D. Milner. So is that an issue? Yeah, because that just shows that your management can't draft properly, and you guys can't evaluate the talent properly. None of your 1st-round picks are still there from 2012. That's not good, man. But I know what this means, though. I know what this means. This means that Zach Wilson will be a New York Jet. We know this. He's going to New York. We know this. Unless something random happens, that's going to be the case. But if that happens, all right, they're going to be the first team in the common draft era since 1967 to pick 2 quarterbacks within a 4-year span. All right, 2 quarterbacks within a 4-year span within the first 3 draft picks. All right, because they had Darnold, who was the top 3 pick, and now you're back again in the top 3, and you're going to take another quarterback. So that's interesting. All right, so 4-year span, you're going to take 2 quarterbacks, but this buys time for Saleh and the new management to get themselves ready for the future, because they got so many picks, a young quarterback, so you don't have to deal with the cloud of, okay, is Darnold our guy? Is he not? Do we extend him? Do we not? You don't have to deal with that constant pressure, right, to see if Darnold's the guy or not. You got a rookie up in there. So it's interesting. But now I think that Darnold, he needs a resurrection, okay? You were a top 3 pick coming out of USC. Everyone was like, okay, Darnold, he's going to be something. we haven't necessarily seen that from him. Why? You could point to the Jets, right? You could point to the Jets not surrounding him with the proper parts, which is true. He had nothing to really work with. No O-line. The weaponry wasn't really great. Right? You used to have Robbie Anderson, but besides that, I mean, it wasn't pretty. So I'm looking at Darnold. He's going to a team now with a superstar running back, my guy, White Chocolate, CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Okay. I think that's fantastic. I like DJ Moore. I like Robbie Anderson, who I mentioned before. He left New York, went to Carolina. So there is familiarity there between him and Darnold. And you never know what they're going to do in the draft. They might get a guy like Pitts, Kyle Pitts from Florida, from the Gators. You never know. Or a guy like Jamar Chase, if you want to surround Darnold with another guy to help in the passing game. I like what they're doing in Carolina. I like Matt Rule. Okay. They are a team that plays really hard under Matt Rule, right? They're not a contender by any means, but moving forward, I see this culture being built. I like Joe Brady as a guy that can help Darnold. They're going to obviously get more parts for the defense. I like where they're going, where they're headed. And when you're looking at their division, the NFC South, Brady's getting older. I know he's still winning, but he's getting older, and he will retire at some point. They don't have a backup plan right now. The Saints, Jameis Winston, is he their long-term solution? I don't know. We don't know. Taysom Hill, I don't know, and we don't know. So that's very uncertain. The Falcons, do they move off of Matt Ryan? Do they stick with Matt Ryan? That is still a question up in the air. So when you're looking at Carolina, they're really the team with the guy for the future. Like a solidified plan for the future at quarterback. They have that. So that is a good sign. But again, this is Sam Darnold's moment. He needs to produce. If he doesn't, it's over. It's over. We can't keep giving you chances. Yes, teams move off of quarterbacks very fast nowadays, very fast. I think too fast, right? A guy might go to the Super Bowl like Jimmy Garoppolo. People want to move off of him, right? A guy not developing as fast as other guys, people want to move off of him, right? I think that a lot of people, a lot of teams, they move off of their quarterback very quick. But in the case of Darnold, he wasn't necessarily the guy in New York, but you could also point to what he had to work with. And plus Adam Gase, just terrible, flat out terrible head coach. I don't know what they were doing over there, right? From the moment he got there, from his meeting, from his first introductory press conference, that was a problem. That was a mess. We knew that. So Darnold moves away from that situation. He goes into a situation that looks brighter for him. You need to produce, because if he doesn't play well, they make this trade for him. They believe in him. They believe he can be the answer that they're looking for at quarterback. If he doesn't do well, I don't see Sam Darnold doing anything in this league. This is his opportunity, and I believe in him, and I see a resurrection, but we'll see how it works out. But let's move to the NBA. All right, let's move to the NBA, and a team that you might, if you're watching, you'll see on my hat, the Brooklyn Nets, right? Now, the Nets, I have a bit of, a problem. Not necessarily a problem, but I have a bit of concern when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. Their health, okay? KD is scheduled to come back pretty soon, according to Steve Nash, right? We know that he had the Achilles in the 2019 finals against the Raps. We know that he was out for a while before coming back this season. And plus, he has this hamstring issue that keeps lingering. Now, James Harden, he has a hamstring issue that keeps lingering. He re-aggravated it, quickly in that game the other day against the Knicks. He's going to be out 10 days. I'm just like, okay, the season's about to end. Like, The playoffs are right around the corner, okay? The play-ins. I consider the play-ins the playoffs, basically, because you're trying to get in the tournament, right? Trying to get in the dance. But they're right around the corner. And this team, I get it. They have those superstars, Kyrie, KD, Harden, but they haven't played together, you know? They barely played together, right? They might play together less than 15 times this year, this regular season. And I'm looking at the Clippers last year, right? I know it's not the same situation, but a lot of people, not myself, I had the Lakers. A lot of people said the Clippers are going to win the championship. The Clippers are going to win the championship, right? But they never played together. They didn't have that chemistry, that starting five. They're stars. They never played together, whether it was because of load management or because of injury. They didn't play enough times together, right? And then we saw what happened in the playoffs. They just weren't ready. There was a lack of cohesion, right? An absence of chemistry. You don't want that if you're Brooklyn. I think that their talent outweighs that problem. I really, really do. They're a deep team. They have shooters all over the place, and they got superstars. But I'm saying Milwaukee's there, Philly's there. Let's not act like the Nets are going to sweep these teams, right? Those are the two teams I see challenging them. Let's not act like they're going to sweep them, because that's not the case, okay? The Nets need to start playing together. Those three, they need to start playing together really, really soon. And again, I don't think, like, will they play enough together to have that chemistry down the stretch when you need it in the playoffs? And if you make the finals, when you need it against a team in the West, and we all know about those teams in the West, they're serious. So, but you know, that's a bit of my concern. I don't know what's going on there. I think that they need to start having some reps, some games together, just to get things flowing prior to the playoffs. But we'll see what happens with the Nets. But now to the baller and disappointing alert of the day. So the baller alert, I have to go to my North Carolina Tar Heels. I have to go to my North Carolina Tar Heels. We have a new hire. All right, we have a new hire, Hubert Davis. Shout out to Hubert Davis. Welcome as head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. We know Hubert. All right, Tar Heels Nation, we know him. He played for us. He played in the NBA, right, over a decade. And he was coaching with us. He worked at ESPN, college coverage. You know, he was under Roy Williams on the staff. So yeah, he's somebody that could get it done. I believe in this hire. Obviously, I was one who was like, wait a minute. Why don't we try to, you know, look outside the box, try to get a big name? We're North Carolina. Like, I mean, we can get anybody we want. All you got to say is, look, you have the opportunity to come to North Carolina, one of the best, if not the best program in college basketball. We win championships. We go to the Final Four all the time. We go to the tournament. And as a coach, you can get free Jordans. Like, I mean, we could get anyone we want, right? But then I thought of it, and we tried to go outside the box after Dean Smith, and it didn't work. But then we stayed within our staff, got Roy Williams. We saw what happened, right? So I think we wanted to keep it in-house. We wanted to have that familiarity, keep it in the family. I like this hire. And also, big note is that he is the first African-American head coach for the Tar Heels. So that's such a big move. And you see a lot of these powerhouse schools, a lot of these, you know, blue bloods, they don't have Black head coaches. They don't, right? So I love this hire because that indicates, you know what, we don't care who you are. If you know basketball, which Hubert Davis really knows, come on in, all right? This gives me shades of Penny Hardaway at Memphis, gives me shades of Juwan Howard at Michigan, because again, played for the school, played in the league, understands basketball. He was on our staff. Like, he knows the game. He knows the game. So I love this hire. I love that we didn't try to go, you know, outside the box. I love keeping it in-house. But I'm like, okay, a lot of transfers, a lot of people leaving. How are we going to be moving forward. I think we'll be fine, but I just hope the recruiting goes well. But yeah, you know what? We're North Carolina. We have a lot of hope. I love this move. Shout out to Hubert Davis. And obviously, I'm going to miss Roy Williams so much. He's the coach I grew up watching as a Tar Heels fan. It's going to be weird not seeing him on the sidelines, but shout out and so much respect to Coach Williams, one of the greatest of all time. You know this. But now the disappointing alert, I have to go back to the NBA and their lists, all right, on ESPN. There are lists that happen all the time with ESPN. Some of them are good. Most of them are bad. This one's not good. Okay, the ESPN NBA best 25 under 25. They usually do the 25 under 25 every year. Now, let me go through 10 to 1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 10. All right, 9, we have Bam Adebayo. 8, Devin Booker. Why is he 8? Why is he number 8? All right, 7, Ben Simmons. You got to move him. 6, De'Aaron Fox. 5, Jason Tatum. 5, really? No. Okay, 4, Donovan Mitchell. 3, LaMelo Ball. Really? And then 2, you got Zion Williamson. And number 1, Luka Doncic. I have an issue with LaMelo. Why is he number 3? I get it. He's doing so much for the Hornets. I get that. And he's come in and he's changed the culture quickly in Charlotte. But really, are we going to disregard? Are we going to disrespect Jason Tatum here? Hello? Can you hear me? Is this mic on? In the words of Rob Parker, is this mic on? Donovan Mitchell below LaMelo Ball? Are we for real? Devin Booker isn't even the top 5? What? Have we lost ourselves? Have we lost our way? Where is Trae Young? All-star. Where is Ja Morant? Can I talk to you guys for a second? Where are these guys? So again, this is yet another list by ESPN where we see plenty of flaws, okay? I have a big issue with this list. With all due respect, all right? I like LaMelo. He's going to be a star in this league, already is. He's a big name, but 3? You got De'Aaron Fox over Ben Simmons and Devin Booker. I'm sorry, that isn't the case. Not my list. Not my list. And I would have Trae Young and Ja Morant somewhere up in here. But the one thing I do agree with is Luka being number 1 because this guy is fantastic. Okay, he is the future of this league. But man, this list is flawed. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for listening to the show. There are more episodes to come weekly on Read Between the Lines. Okay, so be sure, again, to watch on YouTube or listen on multiple streaming apps. All right, thank you again for being here, and I will see you next time.